The legend of Atlantis begins not with explorers, not with sailors, nor with ancient maps, but with a philosopher, one of the greatest minds of the ancient world. His name was Plato. More than 2,000 years ago in Athens, Plato wrote two dialogues, Timaeus and Critias. Within their pages, he described a land so extraordinary, so vast, that its story has endured for millennia. A land of gold and marble, of fleets and armies, of power beyond imagination. He called it Atlantis. The tale according to Plato. Plato claimed the story was not his invention. It was, he said, passed down to him from earlier generations. According to him, the great Athenian lawmaker Solon, who had traveled to Egypt in the 6th century BCE, heard it from Egyptian priests. The priests told Solon that Greek history remembered only a fraction of the past. Entire civilizations, they said, had risen and fallen long before the Greeks existed, and among them was Atlantis. Plato dated this empire to 9,000 years before his own time, nearly 11,000 years before today. To the Greeks of the 4th century BCE, this was unimaginably distant, an age beyond memory, when gods still walked with men and nature itself was untamed. The island empire. Atlantis, according to Plato, lay beyond the Pillars of Hercules, what we now call the Strait of Gibraltar. It was said to be an island larger than Libya and Asia combined. From this mighty land, a powerful empire stretched across the seas, ruling over many islands and reaching deep into Europe and Africa. Its people, the Atlanteans, lived in abundance. Their fields overflowed with crops, their mines glittered with gold and silver, and their artisans worked a mysterious metal called orichalcum, said to shine like fire. They built temples plated with precious metals, palaces adorned with ivory, and harbors so vast that fleets of ships could gather at once. The city of concentric rings. At the very heart of Atlantis stood a city unlike any other, built in perfect rings. 3 circles of land and 2 of water, connected by bridges and canals. The outer rings housed farms, docks, and dwellings. The inner rings held palaces, gardens, and fortresses. And in the very center, rising above all else, was a great temple to Poseidon, Lord of the Sea, who was said to have founded Atlantis himself. Its walls glistened with silver, its roof plated in ivory, and within stood a colossal statue of Poseidon driving 6 winged horses, a symbol of power, a god watching over his chosen people. To imagine such a place, shining metal, grand bridges, endless ships, is to imagine a civilization more advanced, more organized than any known in Plato's world. To his readers, Atlantis must have seemed like a dream of perfection, a utopia of wealth and glory, a society of power and knowledge. But Atlantis was not only beautiful, it was powerful. Plato describes kings descended from Poseidon himself. 10 rulers governed the empire, bound by laws inscribed on sacred pillars. They commanded armies of tens of thousands and a navy vast enough to dominate the seas. Their influence spread far, and their wealth seemed limitless. For generations, the Atlanteans lived with justice, guided by their divine heritage. Yet as time passed, their virtues began to wither. Wealth bred arrogance, power turned to greed, and the people of Atlantis, once noble, grew corrupt. Their desire to rule the world led them into conflict with other nations. Athens versus Atlantis. Plato tells us that the Atlanteans launched a war of conquest. Their fleets sailed toward the Mediterranean, seeking to dominate the people of Europe and Africa. But here, they met resistance. Against all odds, it was the city of Athens, far smaller, far poorer, yet brave, that stood against them. The Athenians fought with courage and drove the Atlanteans back, shattering their pride. It was then, Plato says, that the gods themselves judged Atlantis. Their arrogance, their hunger for conquest had doomed them. Philosophy or history? And here lies the eternal question. Did Plato mean for this story to be history or allegory? For his dialogues were not histories, but works of philosophy. To him, Atlantis symbolized a warning that when nations grow corrupt, when greed overcomes virtue, they will fall. Perhaps he created Atlantis as a mirror, a perfect example of human ambition, rising and then collapsing in ruin. Yet the level of detail is haunting. Plato describes measurements, geography, resources, armies. He gives Atlantis a precise location, beyond the Pillars of Hercules. He names its rulers, its laws, its temples. Such precision is unusual for allegory. Was he simply imagining, or was he preserving an ancient memory passed down through ages? The beginning of the mystery. Whatever his intent, Plato's vision was too powerful to ignore. Unlike myths of gods or monsters, Atlantis felt almost real. A city that could have existed, a people that could have lived, a tragedy that could have happened. And so, the story spread. From philosophers to poets, from explorers to kings, the legend of Atlantis captured the imagination of the world. Plato gave us the first glimpse, but he also left us with the greatest mystery. Was Atlantis truly a lost civilization, or nothing more than a philosopher's tale?